Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to a beautiful Monday. And before we get started with our segment today, just wanted to let you guys know to check out this cool new sci-fi channel, Bayco Productions. These guys do these cool, short sci-fi movies, and I'm a big fan of sci-fi. I've written a sci-fi book. So check out their channel, especially the trailer here at the link. It's a very cool trailer they made, from whatever they have, and it's just very genius for them to create all these things from very little stuff, So check it out. Make sure you like their video as well. It'll help them a lot, okay? So let's get started with our segment today here of Second Lord in the Third House, and hope you guys enjoyed that Hitler video that took me 7 hours to make with all those double, triple, and quadruple roles that I had to play in that video, including all the costumes. So a lot of effort went into it. It was just me doing it, including all the camera work as well. So, thank you for liking and enjoying that video. I'll be doing more of that, including Mahatma Gandhi and maybe John Travolta with their parodies. It'll be cool. You guys will like it. All right, so let's get started with our today's segment. And this coming weekend, I'm going to introduce you guys to Gemini astrology, because of the fact Gemini has really opened up my eyes regarding some of the things that I missed in horoscopes. Some of the things that I never really looked at in horoscopes. Or when I couldn't find it, I'm like, wow, the aspects of Gemini, just completely changed that for me. So I'm going to introduce you to Gemini in the most easiest way possible this weekend. Okay? So today we're going to be doing the second lord in the third house. And what happens when your second lord comes into the third house? And this is probably the most important video regarding the second lord in different houses. Okay? Because here you will find out why certain people might keep getting fired, might keep losing jobs. Okay? Because of the fact some people are meant to do business, meant to put their own effort. Somebody cannot just provide them with an opportunity. They make their own opportunity. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. So first of all, what is the second house? Second house represents your family, your assets, your wealth, your family assets and wealth. It's your speech because it represents the throat area of your body. So you speak, your speaking ability is seen from the second house. Second house represents your interaction with the family, and mainly it just represents the things that you value. What do you value? Do you value family? Do you value money more? Do you value jewelries? Do you value education? All of this thing is seen from the second house. Now, what is the third house? Third house is your self-efforts. Third house is your willpower, your ability to go out and do things on your own. Third house represents your siblings, taking help from the siblings and close neighbors and your cousins and family, like just nearby, near dear people around you. Third house is a house of dramatic arts. It's a house of your skills and hobbies, and mainly it's about creativity, because your skills and hobbies are your creative expression. So whether it's art, sculpting, writing, speaking, public speaking, marketing, anything, writing books is seen from the third house. So it becomes a quite important house. And when I talk, a lot of you are still confused. What do I mean by doing these lords and lords through houses? If you don't have any education in astrology, you got to know that each house, there's 12 houses. Okay, that's it. Each house represents your certain aspects of life. And during your birth, when your birth chart was made, the second house was being ruled by a certain planet. Okay? And whenever a planet rules a certain house, it's not always necessary for that planet to be sitting in his own house, because planets are always moving through the zodiac cycle. So just because your second house is ruled by Aries doesn't mean that Mars is going to sit in Aries. But Mars is a lord of Aries. Okay? So Mars might be in the sixth house. Okay, in the sign of Leo. So in your birth chart, then the second lord went into the sixth house in the sign of Leo. That's what it is. So you have to look at your birth chart, what house your second house lord has moved into. And so if it's in the third house, that's where this video is applicable to you, where second lord is in the third house. So when your second lord comes into the third house, it shows that your wealth, the things that you will accumulate as assets, will come through your self-efforts, will come through your own willpower. Nobody's going to provide you with the opportunity. Okay? Nobody's going to go out there, hey, let me hire you and give you the money. Let me hire you, give you a weekly paycheck. No, you got to go out there and make your own paycheck. You got to go out there and make your own money. And it's the same thing with the second lord in the fourth house, because it's third from the second house. So that means it's the efforts of the second house, but we'll get to that, tomorrow or some other day. But today, then the third house, it shows that the things that you will accumulate as assets will come through your siblings, will come through interaction of your close friends and neighbors, will come through communication, okay, will come through being a salesman, trying to sell something to someone, trying to sell your skills and hobbies. You will make money with your hands, because third house also represents your hands and shoulders. So what do you do with your hands? You can box, okay? You can play a sport. You can write. You can be a massage therapist or something. You can be a sculptor. You can be a painter. So your accumulation of assets will come through your self-efforts. Now, what could it be? Depending upon what planet is sitting in the third house, what planet rules your 10th house. So the whole chart has to be analyzed in that case, but it mainly shows that your interaction of family will be dealt with your close neighbors and siblings. Your siblings will have quite a profound impact. Whether good or for bad, that too depends on the planet. Okay, maybe your siblings cut you out from your wealth and you're like, you know what, screw you guys, I'm going to do it on my own. So maybe your siblings, although they became your enemy, sparked something in you that you suddenly became a self-made man. Okay, so now depending on what planet is going into the third house, that's how you will experience things. So let's say if Sun goes into the third house, it shows Sun is your father, Sun is your personality, it's a significator of your career, significator of your health and longevity, your spiritual life. Not longevity, I'm sorry, but Sun is a lot of things. Okay, so when Sun goes into the third house, it shows that what you value will come through your father, and your father is going to help you become a strong person who can put efforts into their things, who can put effort into their work. Your father will be the influence of your willpower. Your father can become a source of your creativity, your communicative ability. The way you speak, the way you communicate to the world, your father must have had a hand in that. But Sun is a hot planet. Sun can burn the significance of those things. So it shows that although Sun is there, it burning the things of the third house, meaning that your relationship with the siblings may not be so nice. It'll be full of, egos, ego clashing with your siblings. Your siblings may try to act as your father. Okay, your siblings may try to rule over you like the king. And also it shows that since Sun represents your father, it shows that your family business may actually be your father's business. So whatever your father's doing, you may take upon that family business and earn your wealth, but you will earn your wealth through your own efforts. Your father will say, no, I'm not going to provide you anything. You will have to work in my company. You will have to do this, and this, and make your money, but I will give you this opportunity. Okay, it shows that your close friends and neighbors might just be burned by your ego and self-esteem as well. It can show that either they had a lot of ego towards you or you had ego towards them, and it burned the significance, because Sun is a mild malefic. So wherever Sun is placed, he's going to give a positive things as well as the negative things. So it shows, and in the third house, it can make a person very creative as well, because Sun is also the significator of your creativity, your personality. Like Venus and Sun and Mercury are the three planets that really bring that charm and creative self-expression within you. So your self-expression comes to the matter of the third house, whether it's marketing and sales or whether it's dramatic arts. But because Sun goes as a second lord in the third house, it shows that your family is the one that's going to push you, and your family assets is going to help you become your own self-made woman or man. Let's say Moon. Moon goes into the third house. Moon is what? Moon is your mother, but Moon also is your mind, your peace of mind. Okay, it's your ability to think. It's your emotions. And Moon, being the second lord going into the third house, can represent a lot of self-expressions through dramatic arts, through acting and art. Because Moon now is in the sign of Leo, which represents the dramatic arts and dramatic self-expression. So this person can be a natural actor or can be a natural painter as well. Okay, but mainly it shows the mind is into the third house of dramatic arts, hobbies, and skills. And you want to do something in your life, and your peace of mind comes when you are involved with something, activities of the third house. With maybe it's like acting, maybe it's like public speaking, maybe it's like dealing with things with your siblings, and you like being in that teamwork environment, because third house represents teamwork as well. So your mind is always into how can I express myself through a team. So you become a very team-oriented person. It shows that your mother had to put a lot of effort in helping you grow as a person. Your mother had to go out there and may had to fight to put food on your table. It shows your mother could have been an influence of showing how to be your own man or your own woman. But mainly because it's in the third house in the sign of Leo, shows a lot of creative self-expressions through the third house matter. Okay, let's say if Venus goes into the third house, let's say Taurus rules the second house, Venus moves to the third house in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is a sign of communication, writing, and again, it's about media. So, and Venus is a natural significator of acting, art, painting. So it can show somebody who's naturally an artist, somebody who's naturally into designing and fashion. Their hobbies are always insist of doing things related to the beauty industry. And depending upon who from where is coming from with this chart, you'll be able to determine, okay, you might be able to go into designing, you may be good at acting, you may be good at marketing. Okay, so let's say Mercury goes into the third house. Mercury, let's say if Virgo rules the second house, Mercury goes into the third house as Libra. It shows Mercury is communication and business. Mercury is a logical intelligence. It shows this person used their logical intelligence to create their business through self-efforts. This person will succeed in business, especially business of designing and art and creativity, because again, it's a sign ruled by Venus, and it's a Multrikon sign of Venus. So it can show mass communication. Somebody who's a gifted salesman and a gifted marketer. When they go out, they have the ability to mimic any actor out there. And they make brilliant writers of romance. They make brilliant writers of love stories, anything involved with love and relationships. Because the seventh sign, Libra, represents the seventh house energy. So whatever you do with the third house then becomes something related to relationships. You love being in drama and acting, where you're becoming this romantic interest of somebody, and you're able to self-express yourself through that medium. Okay, but mainly a business through self-efforts is really seen from this position. Let's say Mars goes into the third house. Okay, let's say if Scorpio rules your second house, Mars goes into the third house. Shows Mars is a significator of the third house. He's the karaka of the third house, meaning your ability to put your willpower and your efforts into something. And Mars is a soldier. It's all about action. He's all about going there and fighting. So Mars can show, especially with his aspects in the third house, can show somebody who's into sports, somebody who may be into like boxing or martial arts, because third house is again your hands, working with hands. Mars is a fighter. It can show somebody who might be a boxer or a fighter, and if he's receiving an influence of Mercury, it can show somebody who's a sculptor, martial artist, who may be into the really tough dramatic acting ability. So let's say if Mars is involved with Mercury or Venus in the third house, can show somebody who's like Robert De Niro or Al Pacino, or somebody like Clint Eastwood. Like they're just like that. Even though they have the artisticness and their self-expression is there, but it's more of that manly self-expression. Okay, Mars shows that your ability to fight is there. So if somebody comes up to you, you're brave enough to take that challenge. Let's say Jupiter comes into the third house. Jupiter is a natural significator of your higher self. Jupiter represents your education, your higher education, represents your gurus. And being the second lord going into the third house shows that whatever you learned from your family, you're not implementing that as your own self-efforts. So with your siblings, you become a guru. Either your siblings will be guru, but since the second house is going into the third house, You are now putting your influence on your siblings. You're putting the values of what you learned through your own family. You tell your siblings, listen, this is what mom and dad said. Hey, cousins, what's up? Let's do something and let me teach you how to do something. We're very much involved like a teacher with your siblings. You may have a lot of male siblings too with Jupiter, and a lot of siblings because Jupiter is expanding that house. Okay, and especially let's say Jupiter rules your second house as Sagittarius. Jupiter goes into the third house, it's debilitated there. And especially if it's around the degrees where he's debilitated, it can show that you can lose your assets through your siblings. Your siblings may take your money and lose it, and your money is gone. Your self-efforts may go into building wealth, but because of your cousins, close friends, and siblings, you can suddenly lose your assets. And the things that you value of the family may not be the most positive things. Maybe you grew up in a family of like thugs and pickpocketers and family of murderers, and all you learned is how to take advantage of other people. So what you value is now becoming debilitated. So your value system may be damaged. But again, I can't just say this and everybody with this placement is going to have that. No, you have to look at the degrees, aspects, and conjunction that Jupiter is receiving in this house. Okay, and Jupiter represents classical art. Jupiter represents classical things, classical music. So you may have hobbies and interests related to classical things, even if it's debilitated. It can represent interest in classical music, classical art, and you're a very good public speaker. You can actually scam people. You can actually scam people with your public speaking because Jupiter is debilitated now in the third house. But again, don't take this to your heart, because not everybody with Jupiter in the third house will have this kind of a thing. Saturn goes into the third house. Okay, if Saturn goes into the third house as the second lord, it shows you're very fearful of losing your assets to your siblings. You don't have that much of a willpower. You don't have that much of ability to fight. You actually avoid fights. And what happens, Saturn is a law and order, it's discipline. It is your ability to organize things. You're a very good organizer, yet what you do, you start implementing law and order into whatever you work. So when you start working with your siblings, you may try to take over them and you may try to just boss them around. Because Saturn also represents bosses. So you'll try to boss your siblings, and what happens is you and them will not gel. Saturn in the third house can represent that somebody who just can't work in a team environment. They will always be hated. They will always like to work, but as much as they need them, they'll automatically try to overrule them. They say, oh no, do this and this. Even if they're older siblings, they'll try to rule over them. And that's where their connection with the third house can become distant, cold. You may actually not have younger siblings with second lord. Even Saturn in the third house does not really give younger siblings. But being the second lord and now in the third house shows that your value now goes into implementing things of your own efforts to yourself. Anytime you try to rule over your siblings will detach from you. It's like, screw you, I don't want to work with you. You can go into a workplace and work as a team environment. And anytime you do that, you will lose your assets. Because your ability to work with a team will be very, very difficult. Unless you get some positive aspect or some other aspect of Mars or Jupiter upon the third house, it's better for you to work by yourself and not even in a team environment. And even if you are a company, you open up your own company, even having employees will be a headache for you. Okay? So this is how you look at things. Like Saturn here can make a person a novelist. Because again, third house represents communication, writing skills, working with hands. Saturn is a slow-moving planet. Saturn takes his time with doing something. So when they write or they try to communicate something, they'll do it for a long time. So if they go out, give a seminar, they'll give a seminar for 5-6 hours. They write something, they'll write something like 200, 300, 400 pages, not like a three-page thing or 4-page thing. Okay? But Saturn brings fear and anxiety. It's a tamasic planet. So there's always that constant fear from putting your efforts in. Is this going to happen or no? Is this going to happen? Are my efforts really bringing what I need to get? And what it shows that your efforts will not give you results immediately. it'll give you efforts late in life. But if you have positive aspect of other planets and Saturn is there, oh no, your efforts can come in your early 20s. So this is how you see what second lord in the third house doing. So guys, this was my analysis of second lord of the third house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your second lord is placed and where every other lord is placed in your horoscope, for that check out the links below and check out my website. And and my book, Astrology at the Speed of Light, and Aspects at the Speed of Light, and Conjunctions at the Speed of Light. And actually, Aspects at the Speed of Light is releasing August 27th. But whenever you get these books, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. Just make sure you follow the directions below at the link at Astrology KRS. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.